my buddy from NFL Network, NFL Media Group, and man who calls Chargers games locally here on the Chargers Radio Network, Daniel Jeremiah, back here on the program. Good to see you, DJ.
Good to see you, buddy.
You were sitting in your chair listening to me say the Chiefs are going to go 15-2 again, same as it ever was. Your thoughts on hearing that?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, once a scout, always a scout. You always talk about how, you're always evaluating. You're always, paying attention to things, trying to solve riddles. And I don't know, is TJ there as well today?
Yes, he is indeed. TJ Jefferson, ladies and gentlemen.
So TJ, and I'm going to go to Brockman. You guys be my jury on this because I'm trying to put a case together like an investigator would. And I just want you guys be the jury and let me know if I'm onto something here.
Okay.
You ready?
Love it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here are the facts of the case. Rich just went on this long diatribe about the Chiefs are going to go 15-2.
Yeah.
That's where we start. Brockman, you mentioned one of Rich's good buddies, a friend of ours as well, but a very close friend of Rich, Eric Stonestreet. Eric Stonestreet, big Chiefs fan.
Correct.
If you've paid attention and you've watched Instagram ads over the summer, Eric Stonestreet has a plum deal with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Also true.
Then if you also were to take in Rich and his complexion right now, you'll notice a little bit of a bronze tan that he has working right now. I don't know where Rich has been. I know I see some pictures. It looks like maybe overseas on a nice trip.
No.
Was that airfare or, wait for it, was that a free Norwegian cruise that he got from Stone Street? And now we have the 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, or just gentlemen of the jury, I would ask you to render a verdict on if this could be a plausible situation.
Nope. You're very wrong. You couldn't be further off. By the way, that's my defense. How dare you?
Oh, so it was Carnival.
First of
So
all,
it was Carnival.
No. First of all, I'm not a cruise guy. Number two, other than Tom. Number two. How dare you think I can be bought off with some sort of cruise? I mean, what are
because I know you. Because I know you. That's
why. Wow. Tell me I'm off. You know what? You're looking at the Chiefs getting longer in the tooth, and now they can finally. They won't be as good as last year, or last year was a mirage.
I'm looking at that schedule, and I'm looking at the Baltimore Ravens. That is a really, really good football team right there. I'm looking at. I'm not saying they're going to lose all these games, but when you look on there and you see Baltimore and you see Detroit and you see Buffalo and 2 games with Denver, and the Chargers always play them tough. You're going to go play on Thanksgiving and on Christmas. Those are short weeks. So I don't know. To me, look, they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a 12+ win team. I just thought 15-2.
Yeah.
I couldn't get to 15-2. So I would be more like a 12. I still can't get used to the 17 game numbers, by the way. I have to think through it. Feels more like a 12-5 type team to me.
Okay. So now let's jump into some of the headlines from the last few weeks here, DJ. Starting with, this is the first time you and I are talking since Rodgers signs with Pittsburgh. Your thoughts on the marriage, how it's going to work, and what to expect, Daniel.
I'm curious. I think like anybody would be. I think just talent-wise, Rodgers, even at this point in his career, at the very end here, is still more talented than what they ran out there last year. So if you're going to look at the encouraging signs, to me, I think you've upgraded in talent. I like the fact that this is not an Aaron Rodgers led organization or driven organization in terms of the offense that they're running, in terms of the players that they brought in. He's not getting the chance to play general manager here and have that much influence over the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I think is actually going to benefit him. And the Steelers never have losing seasons. So I don't think it's, I don't think it's very controversial to say like this is going to be a 10-win team. Maybe it's the range is like 9 to 11, somewhere in there, but it just feels like they're gonna be a good team. They're gonna be in the playoffs, but he's not good enough, nor is the roster in good enough position for them to do a lot of damage once they get to the postseason.
Is that your 2 cents on it, huh? At the end of the day, it's just going to be another.
Don't they feel like narrow? Like, if this would be an interesting segment, and it's in the off season, and we're all looking for some type of content.
Yes,
but
sir.
like, who has, like, as your golf, and we got a big tournament coming up, Rich, you talk about shot dispersion, like win dispersion, like who has the tightest dispersion there. Like who would you say, like, we know the most about them? They are going to, and that's the Steelers. They're going to win 9 to 11 games. They feel like I don't see them winning 6 games. I don't see them winning 13 games. It feels like that's exactly who they are.
Right. And then when it comes to the playoffs, you would
I
say,
don't think they have enough firepower in the AFC. There's just those AFC teams. They had the quarterbacks, the offenses that you have to run through. I just don't know if they have enough firepower.
Okay. What about the Cleveland Browns quarterback race? I mean, you knew we would be discussing this all the way through to training camp, right? And up to week 1 of the season when you and I left the set in Green Bay after watching Shador drop all the way down to the 5th round after Dylan Brooks gets drafted, and we know Pickett and then Flacco are there.
Flacco,
How do you see this shaking out as we're waiting for training camp to start, DJ?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Flacco probably has his spot reserved, and then it's going to be 3 for 2. So you got those 3 young guys competing for the 2 spots, and I would say, based off of Gabriel where he was picked, based off of the ability, and I go back to, it seems like a million years ago in Green Bay, but I mean, Shador was my 20th player. He's a first-round caliber player. Like, talent-wise, both those guys, I think, have a huge advantage over Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has to be light years better than each of them to make the team. So I would say, if you're going to ask me to kind of predict how it's going to go down, I would say you're going to have those 2 rookies and Joe Flacco. Kenny Pickett's going to have to be Superman to make the roster. And then when you look at it from that standpoint, to me, I think Joe Flacco is just in case they don't feel like they can be competent at the position, then you insert Joe. I think their week 1 starter is going to be, I think it's going to be one of those 2 rookies. I really feel that way.
Really? So you think Flacco will just wind up being a veteran presence in the quarterback room for your starter Dylan Brooks or Shador Sanders? DJ?
Yeah, I think.
Pardon me?
Yeah, you get
Gabriel?
those 2 young guys. I think you have to learn this year. They made that trade, so they've got some ammunition for next year. And I'm just starting to peek at some of these quarterbacks. I'll have a better feel for what that could look like here over the next month. But at next year at this time, they have to know what they have in those 2 rookies. They have to see them. They got to get one of them. And that's why, to me, I don't think you waste time. It's not, okay, let's let Joe Flacco, let these guys get comfortable, and then we can kind of maybe see who wins it between those 2 guys, and we insert them in week 8, week 10. Like, you have to evaluate these 2 kids that you just drafted so that next year at this time, or, before the draft, before this next draft, you have some clarity of what you have on campus.
Any concerns of Shador going 41 miles per hour above the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit recently? DJ?
Obviously it's not great. I just feel like we've seen more of this. I don't know if it's, obviously he's in a different situation, but these college kids now have Rich. If you look at it, and I know people have talked about Georgia and their program and all the speeding issues they've had there. These kids now, a lot of them. I mean, and as someone who has 4 kids, you have kids, like, a lot of these kids drive later now. It's not like when we were growing up, you turn 16, you get your license. Like, people drive later, and then all of a sudden now these kids with NIL are getting these souped up cars that are so fast, and it's like it's not a great combination. Now he's in a different situation, with Dion and having a chance to have a nicer car and do all those things. And I don't think that we have mature drivers, and I think it goes beyond just Shador. It's not a great look, but it feels like we're seeing a lot more of that now with athletes than we've ever seen.
Right. I just feel like, obviously, in this situation when he was drafted in the 5th round, that any sort of conversation piece outside of football that he would provide to anybody, media, team, front office, is just, it's a massive mistake. Regardless of just chalk it up and forget about it. But
it's not a good look. I just feel like, Rich, it's not anything specific to him. We're seeing something like this happen on a weekly basis. I mean, I think that somebody said the big center from Purdue or whatever just was
Zach Edey as well. I mean, my goodness. I've got Daniel Jeremiah here on the Rich Eisen Show. Anything else out of minicamp season jumps out at you? The fact that Anthony Richardson wasn't healthy enough to take any snaps. That's Daniel Jones's gig. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the Shane Steichen's words were pretty effusive in his praise there of Daniel Jones. I've, been intrigued by what's going on with Jaxson Dart. I feel like it seems weird. He's at the New York Giants in that market. But Shador, as you can, always predict was going to happen, is going to swallow the headlines. But man, everything that I've read about Jaxson Dart seems to be pretty positive.
Meaning what? What do you think?
I think he's got a chance to play pretty darn early here. We'll see how it goes. But you just kind of listen to the words of Brian Daboll, and you just got the sense like this was his guy. Like he's invested in him, and he seems to really, really like him. And he had Josh Allen, and once they got him in there, they were able to learn through some of the mistakes and get to a really good place. And it just, I don't know. It sounds a little different the way he's talking about him. And to me, that makes it sound like, hey, this isn't something that it's like, hey, this is a redshirt year for him as they hand the ball to Russell Wilson for a full season. I think we're going to see a lot of Jaxson Dart this year.
You do? Okay. Any 2 cents on when? I mean, the Giants bye is late this year. As a matter of fact, it's a week 14 bye, so it's not going to be, one of those, well, it's week 5, week 6, they're, 2-4. They're 3-3 or whatever, and let's go.
Look at that! Look at that week 6 to week 7 10-day gap there.
Okay.
After the Thursday night game against Philly, which, by the way, that with that group in Philadelphia, I'd be okay with him missing that game. But
right,
that's kind of where it would be. So it would be at Denver. Week 7. That's my early prediction.
Okay,
and then he gets to face Philly the following week. So there you go. He only has to face him once.
Right. I guess I mean, but that stretch too. At Denver, home for Philly, at San Francisco. I mean, listen, you look at everybody's schedule right now, and it just looks absurd. What do you think about the? I keep saying Travis Hunter's not going to be 22 forever, right? And just go take it. Just do it. Just go ahead and do it. You want to ramp him up. Week 5, Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs on ESPN. Give me 100 snaps at that point in time. Like, let's go. None of this business of we got to work him in. We got to make sure he's got a long career. I think he can do this two-way thing for quite some time. This kid. What do you think now? Here, mid-June.
I mean, I think first of all, you guys need to get the drop from Dumb and Dumber where he says, "Just go, man." When he's on the motorcycle. So let's get that. Let's get that prepared.
Okay.
I mean, you don't know until you do it. And we hadn't really seen it at the collegiate level, and he pulled it off. I mean, we can all have theories of, can you hold up and do this at the NFL level with grown men in a more physical environment? But man, looking at these pictures of him right now, it's hard to argue against that. This guy's built a little different now. So yeah, you don't know until you try it. And at this point in time, just getting going. Once he's comfortable enough and you have working knowledge of everything he needs to know on both sides of the ball, I mean, I think there's a little bit of an experiment here. Let's see how much he can handle, and let's see if he can do it. Because if he can, Rich, if he actually can play those 100 snaps, man, you talk about value. Holy cow.
Well, what is the issue? What would be your concern? Literally, the concern is.
My concern is the physicality on the defensive side of the ball. I think in the NFL at corner, you have more physical responsibilities than you do in college. In the NFL, they're going to pull him in closer to the line of scrimmage. They're going to design run game where he's going to be the unblocked defender, and he's going to have to tackle 230-pound grown men repeatedly. So that to me, and that builds throughout a very, very long season. So that to me is the part that I worry about. It's not him getting hit on offense, and all that stuff. They've made the game safer from that standpoint over the years. But I just think the corner position, it's not like it used to be, where you've got you're the left corner, and you're going to go all the way outside the numbers and hang out there on the perimeter, and we're just asking you to cover. Like if you can't tackle at corner right now, you can't play. And if you are going to be able to physically withstand that toll that you're going to have to pay, while you're also getting all those snaps on the offensive side of the ball, that's where the concern for me is.
Before I let you go, Daniel Jeremiah, the team or subject matter that you're hearing about when you're texting people, calling people, chit-chatting with people, scouts, front office, GM, coaches, whomever. What are we not talking about? What are you hearing about? Lay it out for me, Daniel.
Well, I think there's a lot of excitement about some of these young quarterbacks. I think the quarterback class that we had last year, there's so much buzz on it. There is excitement with those fan bases, with Chicago, with Caleb paired up with Ben Johnson, with Bo Nix, and in year 2, where can he take that thing? Drake May, there's been a lot of buzz out of there of how good he looks. Jaden Daniels has already shown us what he's capable of. Is there another whole level? Penix with the huge arm, and what is that now? As he's had a full offseason, it's his team, it's his offense. What does that look like? I can't remember a time where we had guys in one class, this many quarterbacks that have generated this much buzz and excitement, and I'm excited to see what the sophomore year looks like.
Well, you left out J.J. McCarthy, and,
and then J.J. Yeah,
well,
that's another big one,
right? I mean, and that's the one guy that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and that, to me, that's the unknown. And I would say over the top optimism that I've heard on the others, and then with JJ, I think, look, just because we haven't seen him in a game, they're not using these words, but I would say more like cautiously optimistic. Like, I think there's a belief there, but I think there's also a little bit unknown. So again, you could do a weekly segment on just following around those second-year quarterbacks, man. It'd be easy.
Yeah, and Spencer Rattler in New Orleans, where they just drafted Tyler Shuck for a new head coach, and Derek Carr's clearly not in the picture there anymore. That's another one from last year's class that actually meshes with this year's.
Yeah, to me, my year is going to be kind of split between following those guys. I'm curious about these rookie class we got this year, but those guys have star potential in that second year group, and then also looking ahead, Rich, to this upcoming quarterback class. And is there a chance that we have another year where we potentially have 4 or 5 first-round picks?
So then who's
it's going to be fun.
Who's the Cam Ward in that one? Because we weren't talking Cam Ward now last year, right? Who's the Cam Ward to look at in this year's?
Well, I mean, I feel like we've heard about him, but I mean, Lenore Sellers is one that teams have done some homework on. I know our buddy Bruce Feldman just did a big piece on him on the Athletics. So he's at South Carolina, and he's just a big athletic, talented guy. Who if he continues to kind of climb that trend line here, there's real potential for him to go much higher than maybe people anticipate.
Okay, Daniel, thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate it. Let's connect again in the summer, please.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, just keep your head down and let's not be too big here. Just get the ball in the fairway, the fairways and greens, baby.
That's it. That's all I'm going to do.
Rich, does DJ want our answers to the question he posed earlier?
Which is what?
Well, DJ, you asked the question, so I have here. I wrote down some Rich, the Chiefs, 15-2, right?
Yeah.
And then Stone Street, and then Norwegian/Carnival Cruise. Possible payola? Is that what you're getting?
How dare you,
DJ?
How dare you?
How
dare you? How dare you? The man clearly has to go, and we've got a sports update to get you. How dare you? Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel Jeremiah.
Have fun playing shuffleboard. We'll see you. Bye.
That's right.
Just go, man.
Nice. We got the drop. We got the drop. Play it one more time for DJ. Play it for one more time.
Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Just go, man.
There you go.
Still too far.
You ask, you receive. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.